Regularly scheduled meeting, town board meeting, stands to the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To make note that, all right, make note that Melanie Cunningham has been excused. We've also are going to make some changes on the public comment period guidelines. I had thought that a couple of months ago that we could be civil at these board meetings, but apparently not. So from now on, the public will be able to comment during the closing public comment section of the meeting or at any other such times as permitted at the discretion of a presiding officer. Speakers will be recognized by the presiding officer. Members of the public wishing to speak will be asked to stand at the podium. We would like your name and address. The public will be asked to limit their comments to 4 minutes and speak once per meeting. All remarks should be directed to the town board and not members of the public. Commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and civility should be observed. And members of the public are encouraged to address the town board by written communication or to make an appointment outside of the meeting time frame. If speakers wish to refer to written documents, please summarize the points and not read the document in its entirety. So we'll have there are copies of this over in either sign-in sheets if you would like to get one. So we have a 15-minute public comment period. As I said before, we're going to have a 4-minute period. Ask you to speak once per meeting. All remarks should be directed to the town and not members of the public. Commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, and dignity and civility should be observed. Tony?
Thank you. Tony Zappia, on River Road, Massena. Frank, I have a question for you with respect to that position. If you do rewrite that and a permit, basically a permit for that driver position, you can hire them with a permit?
Yes.
Will you then change the salary requirements or the hourly rate of pay and then bump it up once they get the permit?
The new hire already comes in at $3 less an hour. He already starts out on the lower rate. Probably wouldn't adjust it.
So when it adjusts?
No.
Okay. Final question. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Bob Elsner, 15 Warren, Massena. So I appreciate that you like to keep this civil. And I want to remind you that civility starts with the board and you. Last month at this time, you had a citizen point out that he didn't think you were being very civil. Okay. Shortly thereafter, on Facebook, you, Mr. O'Shaughnessy.
This has nothing to do.
I don't care.
Well,
It does have something to do with civility.
No, we're
It does.
talking about comment periods.
I'm talking about comment, I'm talking about civility. You want civility.
I'll ask you to
Anyway,
sit down if
he
you
called me a double dipping leech with no other interest in protecting my salary, my pension.
Okay,
So,
it's enough.
Okay, this is what we're talking about here.
Right. And
Okay,
that can
civility.
be addressed later in private if you'd like, or
Yeah.
in the press,
Yeah.
whatever, but
Okay,
it's not
all right,
for
okay,
public
no,
comment.
I welcome that, we'll do that. I'll address it in the press. This is what we talk about. Everybody can be civil but you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have a couple.
Oh, sorry.
The lot of land you guys are talking about buying, is that the same one that Blockchain was interested in? Blockchain Industries a year ago?
Yes.
Okay. And what exactly does your company do?
Provides infrastructure for client companies in data centers, hydroponics.
So like you own the buildings, or you own?
We could build out the buildings, or they could build out the buildings, we own the land.
Okay.
We do energy management, supply utilities, build out infrastructure.
So like for the data centers and the greenhouses, like you actually own the computers in the data centers, and the computers used for, you would just lease them?
Infrastructure, right.
Okay.
Build
And
buildings.
they would lease for the, okay.
Excuse me.
That's all I wanted to know. Oh, I'm sorry, the guy on the phone, what's his last name? Can you spell that for me, please?
RAPPAPORT.
That's all I got. Thanks.
Bob? Good. Alrighty, I'd like.
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor,
Motion.
before you make your motion. Good evening. My name is David Romai. I live in Chase Street here in the village of Massena. A couple of months ago, I came to the, well, 5 of you, plus Frank, you, Counselor, telling you about a dumpster fire. Tonight, I hear words of encouragement of civility, of decorum. As others have said, the civility and decorum should start with the people sitting behind this desk. And that's all of you. Many
This
words.
is what we're talking
Mr.
about.
Supervisor, do you mind?
No, I'm not putting up with it. We have had to
Then I'll
deal
get-
with
then I'll
this
get-
for
then I'll-
several months, and we're not.
Then I'll
doing
get right to my
anything.
questions, Mr.
No
Supervisor.
questions.
No
That's it.
questions at all.
Nope,
Very good.
Good.
Then we'll take it up with the press.
thank you. All right, I'd like a motion to go into executive session to discuss the sale of real property, because publicity would substantially affect the value thereof.
For the record, I recuse myself.
Okay, second.
From the possibility of power
Second.
from my employer.
Anybody further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions?
Abstention.
So carried.
But this is perfect.
All righty.
The town supervisor's comments at the beginning of the board meeting, limiting the public comment to after all of the meeting business has been attended, limiting people to 4 minutes, that's within their right, that's within their purview. However, shouting down the citizenry as they're trying to make their statement, simply because, at least to our impression, because Mr. O'Shaughnessy doesn't like what's about to be said, is wrong. There's no other way to put it. It's reprehensible. It's not good, transparent government. It's just that simple. I've been told by a number of people in this community, oh, you're not really going to go to the meetings again, are you? Yes, absolutely. Now, some might say that I'm tilting at windmills, that I'm fighting a fight that has already been beaten, that the Basmasian political machine in the town of Massena is still burning brightly. I disagree. I don't believe in no-win scenarios. I never have. And I certainly don't like bullies. The town supervisor, Mr. O'Shaughnessy, is a bully. It's that simple. He is in the wrong. If I had been allowed to continue my questions, my statement, in the 4 minutes that I was denied, I would have asked him the question that I've asked him a number of times before in this public forum. What is he hiding? How is he going to benefit? The moves that he made by, in his own words, packing the hospital board to get a result that he wanted have resulted in the fact that Krause has dropped out completely. They have resulted in the fact that St. Lawrence Health Systems, Mr. Acker and his group, coming in and taking stock of what Massena Memorial has to offer. And I couldn't help but wonder during the Petawatt presentation earlier this evening what some of these businesses and the people that would work at those businesses would think, given the fact that our hospital would be cut back severely. I was actually quite surprised, happily surprised, that Alcoa and NIPA were able to come to an agreement. Because as we all know, smelting aluminum's a damn dangerous business. And that hospital for decades was able to help keep those people safe. I'm hoping that they'll be able to for the next 7 years to come, and well past that. However, if Mr. O'Shaughnessy thinks that we are going away quietly, that we are forgetting, that we are simply shrugging this off, Mr. O'Shaughnessy and the rest of the board are sorely mistaken.
You're past your 4 minutes.
Thanks.
See you later.
Good to see you.
The actual statement is I'll leave with both of you, and you can do what you want with it. But the point is that after last month, we had a concerned citizen point out that the board, and Mr. O'Shaughnessy specifically, were some of the most least civil people in this process. And what I wanted to remind them when I heard that he wanted to keep meetings civil, and what I wanted to remind him was that it begins with him. He's the leader of this town, okay? I don't care if it's Facebook. I don't care if it's this board meeting. I don't care if it's in a public hall. You don't have the right to call a citizen a double-dipping leech. And then to sit there and tie that into the fact that my only motivation for challenging him is that I want to protect my salary, my high-paying salary, my pension, and my lifestyle on the backs of the taxpayers of this community is totally infactual and wrong. He knows nothing about my salary. He doesn't know what salary concessions I've made to keep in my position because they haven't been able to replace me. I'm working on my third attempt at retiring because they haven't found anybody to replace me. He was reminded on Facebook that I've contributed over $25,000 of my own salary back into the operations of the hospital. And I challenged him as to what he's done in like mold. So we had this little spat on Facebook, and all of a sudden, all the things disappeared, mysteriously, disappeared. Whether that be on, as I put in my note, whether that be on advice of counsel, where he just realized he was wrong, it doesn't matter because plenty of screenshots were taken, plenty of witnesses read these comments. So my point is that I'm all fine and willing for civility, and when I went up to speak, I wasn't being loud, I wasn't being obnoxious, I wasn't being rude, I called him Mr. O'Shaughnessy. He knew where I was going, he didn't like where I was going, so he shut me down. That is not what leadership does. If I, and this is the way I conclude my comments, if I was sitting where those council members sit right now, I would be asking and calling for a vote of no confidence in this supervisor and asking for his immediate resignation.
So the way Mr. Morrow handled it at the hospital board was correct? When he was challenged about his Facebook comments?
I don't know exactly what I know Mr. Morrow was also wrong because he claimed that he was representing constituents that he heard from. Okay, if you read his comments, he never referenced that these were coming from patients or constituencies. These were Paul Morrow comments about the reason why we lose business. And to have a board member sitting on our board who does not respect the services and efforts of the people in that hospital, he doesn't belong there. So I agree with Clyde Leffler. He should have been resigned. You notice that the board, again, I'm going to point out, because Mr. O'Shaughnessy had things to say about Bob, Scott, Sue, Carol, Dave, also in his Facebook posts, which mysteriously disappeared. But you notice that there's a double standard. He fired these people, citing the years of service in which nothing got done. Yet Paul Morrow trumps the fact that I've been a board member for 19 years. Okay, Paul, why aren't you in the same unemployment ranks? Because what did you do in the 19 years that kept you in this position? So there's a double standard here because it's political. You're Republican, you're Democrat. Who's Democrat? Who's still on the board?
And who
Plain and
supports,
simple.
who supports his position?
Right, and who supports his position, and there's another term for supporting that position, which I won't use because I'm trying to be civil. Thank you. And like I said here, I have some misspellings because I was there. But I was gonna be transparent, that this town needed transparency. It's gonna get transparency. Sees through New York, I know what his last salary was at New York Power Authority. I know what his pension is, okay? I know what my pension is. I know what See Through New York has as my salary, okay? Yes, I have a higher salary than he, but he has a much higher pension than I will ever have, okay? So I will be reposting this information out on Facebook for all to see because it's transparent, okay? Same information is there for Sam Carbone. Sam Carbone's salary, way above my salary. Okay, now, here's the point. I made about 90, the last See Through New York has me down for 2019 at 96,000. My position, median average salary nationwide, 130,000. You know, so,
And how many years have you been there?
yeah, and I've been there 19 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took a salary cut to come here.
Lucky you.
Yeah, so I just now getting to where I should have been back when I first got here. All right, neither here nor there, because it's not about the money for me, it's about the service to the community. That's the key thing. And he has nothing but self-interest. And you don't even know what they are. That's the scary part.
I just don't know what's gonna happen when Canton, Potsdam, or St. Lawrence South, or whatever they call themselves, finish this, and if they say, well, we want this piece, or we don't want anything at all, then it's right.
I don't know,
then it's right back to square one.
I lost a nuclear medicine tech today because he was afraid of his job security.
Yeah.
So he took a job at Canton, Potsdam.
Wow.
Okay, so I have lost all my MRI techs to Canton, Potsdam. I have no more ultrasound techs. I have no more nuclear medicine tech as of the 17th of May. Okay, these are very, very hard positions to recruit, no matter what. I don't care if you're a quality hospital, medical center, they have a hard time recruiting these positions because they're so highly technically skilled positions. They're highly skilled professionals. There's a lot of responsibility. It's very hard for this town to communicate, to attract that level of profession. So to sit there and have an atmosphere where these uncertainties are now back in, again, we were there, we saw light at the end of the tunnel, and now we've just thrown that all out the door, and we're starting over with all new uncertainties. Not fair to the employees. It's scaring the employees. The employees are jumping ship. I mean, I tried to retire since August of 17. I notified them in August of 16 that I wanted to retire in August of 17. They asked me to stay on, so I didn't retire in August 17. I said I would push it off for a year, August of 18. So August of 18 came, I actually put my retirement paperwork in. They said, no, could you stay on? I said, okay, I got a $30,000 cap, so I'll stay on for the $30,000 caps. Hopefully you'll get your recruit. Well, $30,000 cap came, they didn't have a response, so I suspended my New York State retirement because I could either I suspended it voluntarily or they're going to suspend it anyways. So then I did that. So then, at the beginning of this year, I told them I was not going to New York State retirement kicked back in. I said I was not going to suspend it again. I would give, but I would lower my salary down to a per diem rate of $40 an hour. And I would give them as much as I could under that $30,000 cap. Well, here it is May almost. And we're still no replacement for me. I just can't keep hanging on. I mean, I've put off family. I put off, relatives who need me or need to see me. I have relatives that have health issues. I need to get home. I need to see them.
Retirement's probably a wonderful thing.
I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have. I don't know.
What it is.
We're not gonna know what it is if I get town council now. So, a whole new plan. So thank you guys for doing this. And
Thanks for
Like I
talking to
said,
us.
no problem.